live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly, and you will
Well, go on
not
then, say it. Say the N-word, go on.
No. If she says it, I'm the victim.
I think the biggest problem in that whole debate was Mark Lamont Hill. He's an emasculated man. If that white girl said the N-word on your show to me, I couldn't care less. It's an ignorant person using an ignorant word.
When it's used with a soft A, it's often used as a term of camaraderie within the black community. It's not the same thing as a hard R. Those would be fighting words.
When it comes to white people, the hard R or the soft A is still the same. It's unacceptable.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. So in this clip, we're going to watch this quick little debate from the Piers Morgan show between Officer Tatum and a few other political commentators. And they're going to be talking about the use of the N-word, right? Why it's appropriate for some people to use the word and why it's not appropriate for a certain group of people to use that word. But I'm going to give you my take at the end. I'll tell you exactly how this word is being used in today's time, because it's not the same as what people think as far as how it's being used in previous times. It actually has a whole new different meaning that most people don't put into perspective. And they don't either. I promise you that. So I'll give you my take at the end, but let's not waste any time and get into this video.
I think the biggest problem in that whole debate was Mark Lamont Hill. He's an emasculated man that literally cried and said the N-word and called another black man an Uncle Tom. Do you know, that's the craziest thing ever. You can say the young lady saying the N-word is bad. Of course, I don't use the N-word. I don't compel my children to use the N-word. And I think every black person in America should stop using that word. We didn't used to use that word. It's a horrific word. It's bad when black people say it. It's bad when white people say it. We need to stop using that doggone word. But for Mark Lamont Hill to scream at you and cry on the panel, and he's using the word every day. They listen to the word. They say it when they're mad at a black person. They call white people the word. The word is the problem if you allow it to affect you. If that white girl said the N-word on your show to me, I couldn't care less. She's an ignorant fool if she says the N-word. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't change my bank account. It doesn't make me not be a good father to my children. It's an ignorant person using an ignorant word. It has no bearing on my life.
All right.
But Mark Lamont Hill is the epitome of the problem with young black men who are so hyper emotional, and they create these scenarios and this activism and false sense of caring about the word when it's not even really true in themselves. They are hypocrites. And that's the biggest problem that I saw on that show.
Okay, Kaiser.
Well, the biggest hypocrisy, in my opinion, is that they don't check other groups of people the same way. They let Hispanics say the word. They let Asians say the word, right? So it's not applied equally across the board for other groups of people, right? If they held other groups of people to the same standard, it would make sense. So that's why, I mean, hey, you either can say the word or you can't say the word. In my opinion, I think it's also racist to have different definitions of a word for different groups of people, right? A word means differently because somebody else says it, but if you were to say it, it means something else. And based on your race, that standard is set. I think that's also racist. But hey, if you don't want nobody to use the word, don't use the word. And especially in the music, right? People put it in songs and they allow white people to consume these songs, and they don't have a problem with white people consuming these songs. And if they pay for these songs, they can sing along these songs. But if you don't want these people saying this word, then don't allow these people to, or expect these people to consume your music and pay you for it, right? You should completely come out and say, you know what, this music is not for white people. If you explicitly come out and say that, you might have some argument here, right? If you say, hey, this song is only for black people and it's only meant for black people to sing along, and if you are white and you say these words, you're racist. But they don't say that. They want white people to consume it because they're the biggest consumers of rap music. So yeah, anyway, let's get back into it. Silly.
I know you want to say something. Just before you say something, I remember a Washington Post survey, I think it was, that revealed that the N-word is used 500,000 times a day on social media, almost exclusively by young African-American men who have, in their eyes, reclaimed that word and now using it in an empowering manner themselves. The problem with it is, I remember also around that time, a story about a young teenage woman, a girl, probably late teens, who was at college and was dancing around to a rap record which had the N-word in it, and was caught on a cell phone video using the N-word in the chorus to this massively big selling record. and she got suspended. And I thought, well, that's ridiculous, right? She wasn't using it in a racially incendiary manner or to be racist. She was singing along to a very popular record. But it showed me the danger of if you put out the N-word all day long in rap music and on social media and so on, if black people do that, then you're going to end up with it just, in my opinion, I agree with Brandon, but it's not for me to say as a white guy, but just for what it's worth, my opinion is it just leads to that kind of problem. It doesn't make the word go away. If anything, it fuels its use.
I disagree, and I think it's time for a little the more you know corner on the difference between a hard R and a soft A when it comes to the N-word, because there is a difference. And when we say it's being said 500,000 times a day, yeah, well, when it's used with a soft A, it's often used as a term of camaraderie within the black community. And I see Brandon shaking his head. You can argue it's not healthy, but it's not the same thing as a hard R. Because I think we would all agree that even if a black person said the hard R to another black person, those would be fighting words. It's very different than a soft A. Now, you might think that we shouldn't be using either of them, but I want to make a difference, this distinction clear, because we should at least be accurate about what we're even talking about, because I don't think it's a fair characterization.
Well,
now, where I agree with
Brandon,
Brandon, I'm not done, and I haven't interrupted you, so please let me finish my point.
I respect that.
So, Mark, I think the gentleman's name was, I agree with Brandon. His reaction was entirely hyperbolic, and it's actually not helpful. Because I think regardless of your thoughts on hard R versus soft A, if you allow any word to have that much power over your emotions, you are giving more fuel to the word. And as someone who's online and I commentate online, sometimes people call me hard R, and I just ignore them. I don't give them more. I don't like it, obviously, but I'm not going to feed someone's racial or hateful animus toward me by giving them the light of day. So again, we can have disagreements on how the term is used, but it is not accurate to say that black people are calling each other hard R all the time. You can disagree with the use of a soft A. They're not the same. And I think Mark is actually giving more fuel to the fire than is needed.
Jack,
hey, can I say something real quick? Just quickly, like 2 seconds. I love the gentleman over there, man. You probably one of the smartest guys I ever met. I love your takes. However, I think it's slightly off just a little bit with the A. No white person can use the soft A.
Boom.
Can we admit, if I had a friend that was a white person that was my friend and they said, "What's up, Mike?" with a so black person will accept that. So I think that when it comes to white people, the hard R or the soft A is still the same. It's unacceptable. Right.
If I walked up to Brandon at a Turning Point event and was like, "What's up?" I don't think it would go down too well.
No, and I think the sonority girl I was talking about, who was caught singing, I think it was a Kanye West song, actually. But I think, no one drew that distinction about soft or hard R.
Is it okay for a white person to sing the song? Is it okay? But here's the thing. If black people are taking the word back or whatever, which I think is ridiculous, is it okay for a white person to at least sing the song that they paid money for and they paid to go to the concert?
That is an interesting question, isn't it?
Are they taking the money?
If it's #1 in the charts, should a white person be able to sing it, even if it includes the N-word with a soft A at the end? That to me is where it all gets very tricky.
Take the money from can't say it.
Nobody. White people should be able to say it if they sing in a song.
Well, Brian, what's your view?
Okay. Makes me uncomfortable. The word makes me uncomfortable. You're allowed to say it. I would never say it. It's completely different context when a black person says it to a black person.
Yeah.
Do I think the word should be used in any situation? Absolutely not. Can I just go back to Shiloh really quickly if I can? I'm going to say this right now on this show. Anybody who has donated money to her is despicable. Okay, she claims that she has been threatened, that I've had death threats as well. I'm not asking people for money because of death threats, okay? I don't condone any of those threats if that happened, but anybody who donates money to her, to me, it's like donating money to the Ku Klux Klan. She called a 5-year-old child the N-word, and now she's being rewarded for it. Those are despicable people that are donating money to her, and I'm gonna leave it there, and if anyone on this panel disagrees with me, I'd love to hear your argument.
Right. Jack,
she
you disagree with him?
called a 5-year-old the N-word, so she should be rewarded for that?
Jack?
Well, I guess my question is, do you have the same view over people donating to Carmelo Anthony?
Sure, I'll answer that question. I love your whataboutism, but I'll still answer your question. There's a fine line difference between people who... I'm answering your question. There's a fine line difference between people who are giving money for a legal fund so he can defend himself and people that are donating money to a woman who called somebody the N-word.
You're cool with that?
Which which of course I'm not cool with that. Why would you think I'd be okay with that? Listen, we will find out what happens with Carmelo Anthony in a courtroom. No, I didn't. I'm answering your question. You're not listening to me. No. If you're donating money to help somebody defend themselves in a courtroom, now listen, if he's found guilty, then I'll feel differently about it. I want to wait and see
potential
if he's
legal challenges.
He is facing legal challenges, but I'm sure you had the same concern with all the legal challenges that Donald Trump was facing, right? I'm sure you did. I'm sure you had the same problem with Donald Trump when they donated money to him for his legal fund with the 34-count felonies. You have Trump fellatio syndrome, okay? It's called TFS.
Right,
Don't say I have Trump derangement syndrome.
You see, here you go. We just, hey, Pierce, we just like you exposed that white girl, we're exposing him.
Talk about Trump.
Hold on.
Only thing you think
just
about.
said I have Trump derangement syndrome.
Fantasy every night.
Okay,
look at you.
You just said I have Trump derangement syndrome. I responded,
no, I didn't, actually.
And I don't wear the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7 like you do, Jack.
Well, I'm a Trump supporter too, so do I wear the knee pads?
I think it's
sensible.
sensible.
That's ridiculous.
All right, let me give. You know what? Let me give the last word to Kaiser, because he's been waiting patiently. And you, unlike the others, you put your hand up so gracefully when you want to speak. I do like this new marker of respect, and things are deteriorating a little to your left and right. So, final word to you.
Okay, cool. So quick note, if a white kid at a Travis Scott concert uses the N-word with a soft A, I don't care. I think it just looks awkward, but they're excited. We don't have to get offended about every single thing. But to the more important point about the Shiloh versus Carmelo cases, I want to make it very clear. What Shiloh did and what Carmelo did are not at all equivalents. One person murdered someone and another person used a really vulgar word. But what is equivalent is the double standard that the supporters on both sides are applying. And they're getting tribal and they're giving money simply because they're engaging in a digital race war. And that race war is to the bottom. So in my opinion, giving money to Carmelo Anthony because you want to right some sort of historical injustice is actually self-sabotaging because it's just igniting racial animus among white people. And I think white people who are supporting Shiloh, or anyone else for that color who are supporting Shiloh doing what she did, are also self-sabotaging. Because as you can see from the conversation we've just had today, neither of this is getting rid of the discrimination or hatred that both sides feel like they're being subjected to. So if we want to move past all of that, let me just finish this one real quickly.
Can I ask you a question?
I think what Black people need to be doing is holding Carmelo to account and saying, it doesn't matter what color you are. You don't stab people at a track meet because they told you to move. And I think white people on Shiloh's side say, it doesn't matter what color you are. You don't get to use a racial slur on any colored child who's 5 years old just because you're frustrated because they went in your diaper bag. That's ridiculous. And we just need moral clarity on both sides rather than tribalism.
I've got to leave it there. And actually, I quite like leaving it there because I think that was brilliantly articulated. So thank you, Kaiser, and thank you to the rest of my panel. A really lively and interesting debate.
Yeah, so we're going to stop it right there. Now, most of you guys, some of you guys, especially the pro-blackity blacks, are not going to like my take on this one. But here's the thing. Nowadays, the word does not mean what it means, right? It's not an insult towards black people anymore. Not all black people, at least. Because nowadays, that N-word is more of a descriptive word. Because people know when we say there's a difference between the N's and black people. And black people know what that means as well. So when we say, hey, there's a distinct difference, and it doesn't matter how the word is said, but there's a distinct difference between using the word and describing somebody and then using it as an insult. And nowadays, it's more of a descriptive. And basically, it means somebody that is basically a degenerate, right? The YNs, that's what we're talking about. The ghetto birds, right? The bonnet bandits. That's what we're talking. That's what we're talking about when we're describing people using the N-word. No, so it's not an insult towards all black people. It's not an insult at all anymore. And like I said, some of you guys are not gonna agree or like this, but it's the truth because even black people use that term to describe undesirable, degenerate black people, and that's just the way things are. You have normal black people, and you have the N's. And whichever side that you lean on is based on your behavior, how you act, how you talk, how you behave in public, right? Are you loud and crass? Do you step out the house looking crazy with a bonnet on? Do you sag your pants, right? Are your pants on your knees? right? That's what we're talking about. Those are the ends. So using the N-word is not an insult anymore. It's describing somebody. And these somebodies are the people that I just described to you. So that's my take on it. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know if you agree with Officer Tatum. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments down below. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button, guys. It really helps the channel out. And of course, consider hitting subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.